Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Got Charles Parlato on. He's with a company called investorsforcharity.org. Sounds like it's more of an organization than a company per se, but he'll tell us all about it. Charles, tell us about what you do. Tell us what you're up to, and welcome to the program.
Well, Investors for Charity is a crowdfunding mechanism, and unlike Kickstarter and Indiegogo and the other organizations, this one allows you to, first of all, of course, select a project that you want to donate to. But unlike the other methods, this insists that you go ahead and select one of the charities that's under that particular project to receive the benefits from the project. So all profits that would normally go to an equity investor would flow down to the charities that you've selected. So if you were to give $100 and you selected four of the charities, those charities would be kept in our records as having made an equity contribution of $25. Moreover, the donation you give is also tax deductible because Investors for Charity is a 501c3 approved charity.
Okay.
So that's the fundamental difference. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so you really have to have a certain amount of altruistic motivation to work with yours. It's not merely an investment opportunity. It's an investment with a purpose.
That's right. Well, unlike, of course, the other crowdfunding mechanisms that really are just a windfall for the producer who, in fact, gets these donations. This is a windfall for the charities that are going to benefit from the production itself.
What go ahead.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask you what motivated you to create this unique niche.
Well, because there are a couple of members of my team that suggested that maybe we should, at least for development purposes on this movie that we're making, put it on Kickstarter. Well, we're making a very substantial movie. We're not making, a $50,000 movie. We're making a movie that's going to probably be at least a production budget of at least $20 million. So I just said that, no, you can't do that, principally because that would be an enormous benefit, a windfall benefit to, well, frankly, to me and the other people that are producing this movie. And so from that, I just said, we can't do that, but let's try this. I mean, in other words, we want the beneficial owners, the equity owners, to be charities that are going to benefit from the production. And that's where we came up with it, because I just thought it wasn't fundamentally fair, particularly for projects of a substantial kind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Kickstarter, I like Kickstarter. I like the concept and the idea behind it, and for people to be able to invest in stuff for the purpose of just because they like to see it happen. I think it's a cool idea. Right. But I also like this idea that that significant parts of it is going to go to help nonprofits, to help charities. I think that's cool. I understand in the press release that we read that you have significant background. You and your team have significant background in crowdfunding. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I don't know that I have a significant background in crowdfunding. Because it hasn't been that long. There's not much history behind it.
Well, that doesn't matter these days, really. But anyway.
I agree. I've had a month. I guess I've had, the reality is we've been looking at it for about a year. But nonetheless, my background is business.
And so, so that's interesting. What kind of projects are involved in the crowdfunding?
Well, in this case, we have a movie called Nicaea, which is the principal motivation for setting this up. Nicaea is a movie. It's a 4th century Roman epic, and it is in the process of being developed, and hopefully will be out at the end of next year. And then there's other projects that we're considering to put on this. But it's very important that we get the initial project up and operating again. So I have not been out. Well, that's not true. I have been out getting a number of other projects on board for Investors for Charity. So when you go to the website, you'll have more than one project to look at, and hopefully we'll have maybe 10 or 12 to look at.
So far,
they'll be larger.
So far, you have the one project.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so it looks like you're doing pretty good. I mean, you got over a month left, and you've got 10% of a rather large amount, 10% plus of the $20 million. So that's pretty significant.
Well, it is. I think we need to make one thing clear. It is a significant project, and the minimum is significant, but it is not going to be all donors. We never anticipated that we did $20 million worth of donations. Most of that's going to be equity financing with individuals and institutions. But I would, of course, love it if we could have it all by donations, because I'd love that all the money, I would love all the profits from this movie to go to charities. Mm-hmm. But frankly, what we'll be doing is a good portion of the financing, I would say the vast majority, will be institutional and individual investors.
Yeah, that's interesting. Tell me about the types of donations that are required. It sounds like you said that there's a minimum amount required? No,
there is no. Well, we don't want dollar contributions, not in this, because it's too complicated. Because what happens is, once we reach this minimum, the money goes to the project developer. The project developer, in this case, producer, produces the movie. The funds come back to Investors for Charity, and Investors for Charity has to redistribute them to the various charities. So we don't want really small ones, but $25 contributions are good. $10, we can go ahead and take care of that, and you can do it with a number of charities. So there isn't a minimum on that. There is a minimum in terms of an equity contribution, not contribution, equity investment. In the movie, that's a different thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's interesting. So, what other projects are on the radar screen once you get this funded?
Well, we have a project that we hope is going to be interesting. Well, it's really about Whitaker Chambers and Alger Hiss. We're hoping that can get that on board. We have a project on Fatima, which we hope we'll have ready by 2017, and we have a couple of other ones that probably shouldn't be mentioning, but ones that we're looking at, including one theatrical production.
Awesome. Got to wrap it up. Give us your website before we let you go.
Okay, it's Investors for, that's with a numeral 4, charities, .org. InvestorsForCharity.org. No, I'm sorry, InvestorsForCharity.org.
InvestorsForCharity.org. Charles Parlato. Thanks so much, Charles.
Okay, thank you so much, guys.
When we come back, we're going to wrap it up today's program. Do you want to remind you? Best content here, it shows up over there at usdailyreview.com, and this is The Price of Business.